Growing up, my mother always had a big, bulky home video camera at every holiday and every play, rehearsal, or sporting event. Occasionally, she would even allow us kids to use it for our make-believe television shows or overdramatic reenactments of our favorite bedtime stories. As I grew up, those memories became mountains of old family videos on cheap tapes, and those tapes were deteriorating. So I made a promise to my mother that I would digitize our videos before they're gone. A promise I began to follow through on only recently. That was when I realized how large and wonderful this project could become. As a writer and anthropology student, I have a great passion for preserving the stories of generations past, and this includes my own family and our legacy. This is when Hendricks Family Video Archive was born. Hendricks Family Video Archive is an online digital archive of our generational artifacts: film, photographs, documents, etc. The original archive is, of course, physical, and is being gathered, organized, archived, preserved, and finally scanned by me before being sent back to their rightful owners. The online archive consists of a website where visitors will find an extensive repository containing biographies, cherished photographs, and eventually, a database family tree. Additionally, this digital archive will serve as a home for the project's overarching goals and manifesto. And to ensure accessibility and ease of navigation, each family member will have their own dedicated section, complete with links to all relevant videos in which they are present. While the videos themselves are hosted externally on YouTube, like this one, this centralized hub will serve as the nexus for our familial heritage archive. But the most important and most treasured part of this project is the biographical interviews. Over spring break, I traveled to Michigan and spent 7 days collecting familial artifacts and interviewing my grandparents. 3 deeply personal interviews of my 3 living grandparents aimed at capturing the essence of their life journey, familial legacies, and intrinsic beliefs. With a meticulously crafted list of interview questions spanning a diverse range of topics, including early childhood, middle school, high school, college, career, family, love life, politics, religious and spiritual convictions, as well as more nuanced questions about life and personal discovery, I unveiled the intricate layers of my grandmother's lived experiences and perspectives. And I was also able to get a few precious memories from my grandfather, who is currently suffering from dementia. It was an unforgettable week where my gracious grandmothers, who have done nothing but love and support and nurture me my entire life, laid bare their souls and allowed me to ask them intimate questions about their lives for hours upon hours and days upon days. The stories I heard were magnificent, and the footage I captured was priceless. I lost everything. 18 hours of interview footage up in smoke. You see, I'd run out of space while in the northern Michigan wilderness, so I was keeping my files on an external hard drive with the intention of backing everything up as soon as I got home, because it would be completely fine for only a few days, right? Wrong. Unwilling to give up hope, I shipped my crash drive off to California so the best of the best could try to retrieve the data. And since I'm working with a 12-year-old computer I've personally Frankensteined back to working order several times, I'm familiar with the technology inside, and I knew there was a possibility that the files I had deleted may still be hiding in a dusty corner of my hard drive, not yet written over. So I started running software in every nook and cranny I could think of, and when DriveSavers called me back with the heartbreaking news that they could not recover anything, I spent the next 12 days running scans. And although I've recovered old photo booth videos from 2008 that had probably been deleted for a decade, for my Michigan trip, nothing. Well, not exactly nothing. I was able to recover exactly 1 hour and 16 minutes of footage from Michigan, but both grandmother interviews were completely irretrievable. It was at this moment that I finally allowed myself to accept what had happened. I was in agony, and I wept deep and hard. I wanted to preserve their stories, and I wanted to do it for their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But now it's gone. And instead, all those stories were just for me. So I asked myself, what is the point? I'm spending all this time trying to collect and preserve my family's history in some sort of harebrained attempt to convince myself that we aren't just going to disappear. What did I think was going to happen? There would be a fail-safe way to preserve all this stuff that nobody else is going to care about except my little pocket of extended family? Because there isn't. Someday I will die and no one will be around to keep paying for my website, and it's doubtful YouTube will exist in 100 years. And houses burn, and so do museums, and Nazis steal artwork, and people shoot themselves in the head. And sometimes things are lost forever, and all we have left are the stories we tell. And the DNA we share. Some research suggests trauma can not only change an individual's DNA, but it can also be passed down to future generations, affecting the health, habits, and personality of those who are far removed from and have no memory of the event. This, along with the trajectory of my own life, spurred my desire to dig deep into my ancestral history and learn about the people who helped make me. And I've learned a lot. My great-great-grandmother was an orphan in England who was sent to Canada. She was adopted by a man who used her as a slave and routinely raped her. My thrice-great-grandfather, Hendricks, was an illegal immigrant from Germany who stowed away on a ship to the Americas alone at about 12 years old and settled in Detroit. He didn't become a U.S. citizen until decades later. Antonio and Maria Henriquez both immigrated from Flores, Azores, separately via Ellis Island and met and married on the East Coast. They left the islands during a tumultuous time of poverty and overpopulation. I learned about the bruxa of the Azores and the folk healers who were persecuted during the Portuguese Inquisition, the deep Catholic faith of current Azorians. These are only a few of the tales I've discovered, but there are many more, and I'm excited to tell their stories. Stories of immigration and imagination and perseverance and love and fierce determination. Because I believe there's value in them. And yeah, nothing lasts forever. But maybe I can help our stories last a little longer.